The Eagles Nest 4th of July Horseshoe Competition is brought to you by Jim's Remodeling and Home Repair. No job too small, free estimates. Call today. Mama Shaw's Jams and Jellies. Nothing goes better with peanut butter than Mama Shaw's Jams and Jellies. Jim's Locksmith Incorporated. 24-hour service and a walk-in shop. Call today. And by Goodyear, leading the way in tires. Goodyear, keeping the rubber on the road. Partly cloudy, 83 degrees. We're down in Drexel, Missouri for the 4th annual Eagles Nest Horseshoe Competition. I'm Patrick Stump, joined here with my co-host, two-time defending champion, Mark Harris. Mark, let's talk about the competition today. We've seen a lot of these players coming out of the woodwork. We haven't seen many of them play in 3 or 4 seasons. What's your expectations for the play today?
Well, Pat, it will be interesting because my partner came up lame this year. So, it could be interesting, but I don't see a problem.
Let's talk about this course. This course is the only one that I've been to that has a 15-degree drop towards the eastern pit. What's the reasoning for that?
Well, the reasoning for that, Pat, is because home field advantage. If you try to throw up the hill, it really messes you up. Throwing down the hill, you throw them way too long. That's home field advantage in my favor.
Now, we've got some very interesting players this year. Let's take a look at who we've got. And rounding out the teams after the draw, Rick Stripling and Steve Chandler versus Eric Stripling and Nancy Shaw, a.k.a. The Fish. We've seen these two teams battle it out in previous competition.
And our next pairing will be Rick Q and the Aaron Ringer Shaw against Jameson Shaw and G.I. Joe Jim and that Aaron Ringer Shaw, the newcomer. He is tough.
And coming up at 5 and 6 is Mark the Butcher Harris and Sheila Harris. This is the husband and wife team that dominated last season. And number 6, Mike Stump and Tiffany Stripling, a fairly new team.
And our next pairing will be Sharon Maxim against Steve Twinkletoe Shaw against T.J. Williams, Bill the Rocket Shaw. Team to watch out for, I think, is Team 7. They're pretty strong. And our next pairing will be Ron Heydrich and Patrick the Leaner Stump. And I'll tell you what, that Ron Heydrich in this group will be a powerhouse to contend with. He is good.
And Mark, I'm sure you will agree that in itself is a very impressive list of players.
Yes, it is.
Well, let's not forget Aaron the Ringer Shaw. We've seen him come back from previous competitions. He's always a little bit down in the beginning, but he comes back hard towards the end. What do you expect to see out of Aaron this year?
Well, these young kids, they come in here and they really think they can throw, but, I'm sorry, he just doesn't have the talent.
All right, folks, let's take a look now at how the day went down. And our first matchup of the afternoon, Rick Stripling and Steve Chandler versus Eric Stripling and Nancy Shaw, an epic father-son battle. First to fire out of the gate, Steve Chandler with a nice sideways frisbee throw. Rick Stripling not throwing shoes very well today, but his form is spectacular. Look at that. Eric Stripling trying to fire back at Dad. He's not having any luck. He just doesn't have the talent today. Steve Chandler and Rick Stripling walk away with the win. Nancy and Eric move down to the loser's bracket. Match 2 of the afternoon, round 1. Mark the Butcher Harris and Sheila Harris, husband and wife team, versus Patrick the Leaner Stump and Ron Heydrich. Ron Heydrich firing high out of the gate, praying for rain, but it's not happening, throwing uphill. Pat tries to throw downhill, but he just can't place the shoes in the pit. Mark Harris has been looking good all day. He's just got good form, good shoe placement. Mark Harris and Sheila Harris take the win. Pat and Ron head down to the loser's bracket.
And our next matchup is Aaron the Ringer Shaw and Rick Q against G.I. Joe Jim and Jameson Shaw. And firing out the gate is the Ringer. Oh, what form. He is throwing good shoes. for a newcomer. Jim throwing back. Oh, the form is just not there. And Jamison Shell now. Oh, not bad technique, but a little bit off. And there you go. Oh, there's a balk. But with that balk, it didn't cost them the win. They will move on to the next round.
Final match, round 1, Mike Stump and Tiffany Stripling versus veterans TJ Williams and Bill the Rocket Shaw. First to fire out of the gate, Mike Stump wild and high. He's not getting it done going uphill. Tiffany Stripling right here. Oh, look at that foul right there. That's going to cost him. Bill the Rocket Shaw fires hard and fast. That's why they call him the Rocket. TJ Williams bringing it in for the win. Mike and Tiffany go down to the losers bracket.
Round 2 winners is Cheryl Maxon, Steve Twinkletoe Shaw versus Steve Chandler and Rick Stripling. And Steve fires off. Oh, that's a little wide. He's not in quite form yet, but oh, no, just not there today. It's just not right. And Twinkletoes is up. Oh, look at that form. It is pretty. And then we're going to Cheryl Hopper. Oh, it's just not there for him today. They're going to move on down.
Match 2, round 2 winners, Mark the Butcher Harris and Sheila Harris versus Aaron the Ringer Shaw and Rick Q. Mark and Sheila just looking good in this game. They were unstoppable with great shoe placement in the pit. Aaron the Ringer Shaw, Rick Q trying to fire back. It's just not happening. Mark and Sheila go on with the victory. Aaron and Rick move one down to the losers bracket.
Match 3 of round 2 in the winners bracket is Steve Chandler and Rick Stripling against TJ Williams and Bill the Rocket Shaw. And the second shoe here for Steve, looking pretty good. Oh, not bad throw, not a bad. Oh, look at that ringer. You don't get any better than that right there, folks. That's a trophy in itself. Here comes TJ back, looking good for the Rocket and TJ. The Rocket is ready. Look at that concentration. It's on there. It is definitely a game winner. And Rick throwing back, trying to get that. Oh, didn't look good. It looks like they're going to move on down to the losers bracket. What? What's it? Oh, he's calling someone to the parking lot.
Match 1, round 2 losers bracket. Patrick the Leaner Stump and Ron Heydrich versus Eric Stripling and Nancy Shaw, a.k.a. The Fish. First one to fire, Eric Stripling looking good, just can't quite get it to the pit. Ron Heydrich throwing way high right here, but he's still getting it on the post. Patrick Stump trying to help his partner out uphill, but he's just not quite going to get it to the pit right there. That's going to put Ron and Pat advancing to the winners round. And here's what Eric had to say about today's event.
The sun got in his eyes.
The sun's a factor. It sets in the west. We're playing east to west. I threw it towards the west, and the sun was in my eyes the whole time. Besides that, though, a great day. 4th of July weekend, 2009. Awesome. Thanks a lot. I'll be here all weekend.